is Stu Aaron, and I'm the Vice President of Marketing at Bloom Energy. And we've got 30 minutes for questions and answers this morning. We'd like to ask that each person, when we call on you, please state your name and your affiliation. We're going to ask that each person have just one question, and we'll take it from there. So if we can begin. There's a question to my left.
Jim Carlton with the Wall Street Journal. Congratulations, hello. Quite excited. Have you conducted, I guess, first of all, any third-party cost analysis on cost and reliability? KR.
So our customer proof points are our cost analysis. These are actual equipment being purchased by them for certain price. It's a total cost of ownership. These are public companies. Their CFOs run the math. They have a fiduciary responsibility for the stakeholders to make sure that they're getting the right cost and showing the right math on why this is economical. And each one of them in their customer panel will do that. In terms of the reliability, it's a 10-year life that's warranted and guaranteed by Bloom Energy.
Next question.
Is there a specific, Scott McGrew with NBC, is there a specific kilowatt hour cost if I want to install this in my factory? What is my specific cost?
For our customers today, it's somewhere between the 9 to 10 cents a kilowatt hour. And most of our customers today that we've heard in California pay between 13 and 14 cents a kilowatt hour to PG&E. So they save between 4 and 5 cents for every kilowatt hour of electricity we generate from our costs. All costs included.
Carrie Dolan from Forbes, just to follow up on that. So that 9 to 10 cents a kilowatt. Carrie Dolan from Forbes. That 9 to 10 cents a kilowatt hour, that includes that's net of the 20% break you get if you buy these in California and the 30% federal tax.
Exactly.
Break.
That's inclusive of all the costs and all the subsidies put together.
And just a quick, do you have any of these installed outside of California?
Not right now. It's a huge market for us, and it's in our backyard.
Senator?
Hi, I'm Phil Keys with Nikkei Electronics. As you mentioned, fuel cells have been worked on for quite a few years. Can you give us a bit of the key details about what you see as the technology innovations that have brought you where you are now?
You know, one of our co-founders built the first Gemini fuel cell in the early 60s. So we've known for more than 50 years between us co-founders and put fuel cells on submarines, space stations, and everything in moving and space probes. We started the company to make it affordable. So it's not, fuel cells have never been an issue of will they work. They've been an issue of can you make a commercially viable product, an economically viable product that's reliable and can offer the customer that. So there's hundreds of innovations that went into making that cost effective and reliable. There is no one secret magic bullet that makes it happen.
One comment I'd like to make is that not all fuel cells are the same. The fuel cells that you know about are the PEM or permeable electronic membrane cells. These are different. They're solid oxide fuel cells are made from ceramic, and they're a completely different animal. And as far as I know, it's the first time they've ever been commercialized. So you do have to make a distinction what kind of fuel cell we're talking about.
In the back?
Obviously, I'm Sue Kwan with CBS and CBS affiliates. Obviously, this has huge implications for purveyors of the grid and utilities. What kinds of discussions have you had with them in possibly partnering or allowing your technology to be used in a hybrid way? Because you're not just going to cut down the line. So,
well, we are actually a friend of the utility. Like John said on 60 Minutes, the utilities don't build nuclear power plants. They don't make gas turbines. They buy them from other companies and they use them to produce electricity and supply it to the customer. So the utility is in the business of supplying a customer with electricity, servicing them, and collecting a fee for it. There's no reason why they wouldn't be able to do that with the Bloom Energy servers. And in addition to that, every utility in the country is now required, mandated, to have an RPS standard where they have to transform a certain percentage of their generation to clean generation. And a 24/7 reliable clean generator that can meet the RPS standard is very attractive to the utilities. So they are talking to us and we are in discussions.
I'm Deborah Kahn with Freemeyer. Sorry. I was just hoping that you could explain again how the solar works, how it runs on solar, and what more it needs for that to happen, and how many of the customers are using that.
So the question was, how does your Bloom Energy Server work with the solar panel, and what needs to happen? What happens there is, during the day when the sun shines, the solar panel produces enough electricity to power the home, but it also the solar panel produces more energy, more electricity that goes into the home energy server, the Bloom Energy Server, converts water into hydrogen and stores that locally. So the excess electricity is stored as a fuel. Locally, low pressure, no hydrogen. During the night when the sun is not shining, the hydrogen goes into the fuel and the system produces electricity for the home. In addition, whether your car is a hydrogen burning car or an electron consuming electric car, the home energy server becomes the gas station. This is the model. For market reasons, cost reasons, multiple other reasons, the automotive fleet changing to where it needs to go, solar coming to the price point it needs to come to. We're about a decade away from this product. We're about a decade away from this product. Okay? But what we have done is demonstrated every aspect of this technology end to end and patented this technology worldwide.
If I could add, there's a wonderful description of this energy future in one of my favorite books, Tom Friedman's Hot, Flat, and Crowded. So look there, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Mics aren't working, so please speak up.
Hi, Dana Hull from the San Jose Mercury News. Are there any plans to use thermal applications?
You know, when we talk to our customers, what they say is, as long as you can give us an electricity-only box, that would be your preference, because that is the most fungible energy form. You can make heat, you can have a light bulb, you can power your computers, whatever you need to. If you build a box that provides both heat and electricity, the amount of heat you use varies depending on night and day, seasons, geography, where you are. So every location that you put a box becomes a custom installation. Those are the things that add to the cost, make these things less attractive. We figured out a way of taking all the heat we generate and very cleverly use it back in our system to provide the highest possible electrical output one can get. And our customers love that. We are meeting the demand of our customers. The product is designed to give what the customer is looking for. Right here.
Mark Fulmer, the Auto Channel. I'm envisioning two Bloom boxes in my electric vehicle. One is producing the electricity to zoom me around. The other is creating fuel for me. Is my vision possible? And what are the automotive applications for Bloom Energy?
So we think neither one is in your car. It's a single unit. It's outside your car. You don't want to be hauling a power plant everywhere you go. You don't want to be hauling a gas chemical plant everywhere you go. That's wasted energy. You want to put that where it belongs, stationary, on the ground. And you want to make your car carry only the things that it needs to carry, you and your carbon.
Okay, so it would never be inside the vehicle
It
itself?
should not be inside of the vehicle is what we would say from a system efficiency perspective.
And one further question. If you take the traditional hydrogen fuel cell, certain amount of hydrogen, certain amount of oxygen, boom. Okay, now you take the Bloom Energy fuel cell. How is that ratio different? Do you use more fuel, more oxygen? Is it the same equation for each of these?
Very good question. And a very simple way to answer that is just think of calories. 100 calories coming in, whether it's 100 hydrogen calories or 100 natural gas calories, it doesn't matter. We can take hydrogen, we can take natural gas, anything. For those 100 calories coming in, we can produce the maximum calories out of electrons compared to any other technology that's out there.
So you're producing more than the hydrogen fuel cell?
Absolutely, from a calorific value.
In the center.
I'm Carl Collar from the Mercury News, and I'm hoping to do a graphic on how it works. I haven't heard you talk a lot about that, but is there, I don't know if there's a diagram on here, or it's like a scientific explanation.
There is. Yes, there is a diagram and there's an animation. You will be able to get that.
Can I just
yeah, go ahead.
ask what Mr. Rogers meant when he said it's different from normal fuel cells? It's a solid oxide fuel cell from ceramic. How is that different?
In a permeable electron membrane cell, a proton, hydrogen proton goes through the cell, and the electron has to go through the circuit to come back and recombine.
Right.
In this fuel cell, an oxygen ion goes through a ceramic membrane. It's actually a hard material, and it is the movement of oxygen through the cell from the air that is what separates the electrons in the atoms and creates power. So it is a completely different technology, and it's much more robust, and it doesn't require extremely expensive catalysts, palladium and platinum, required in prior fuel cells. If you wanted to ask why they haven't taken over the world, palladium, platinum, and membranes that wear out is the reason the old style fuel cell haven't taken over the world. This is brand new and different.
Is there a simpler way of saying that? That's kind of, I mean, it's a little.
Simple like sand versus platinum. That's a simple one.
No, but it's simply described.
No, the process.
The process is air comes up against the fuel cell. It's been heated by the exhaust. That's the reuse of heat he talked about. And the air, the oxygen in the air goes through the fuel cell and combines with, let's say, natural gas on the other side. The air leaves behind electrons, and they have to go through a circuit to come back and get back home again. And that's where the power comes from.
And the conventional technology is different from that?
Conventional technology, the species flowing through the cell is proton, from hydrogen in the atom, as opposed to oxygen. A totally different way of doing business.
Okay.
Hiro Tanaka from the Nikkei. John, is this the next Google?
John Blackstone from CBS News. Just so I'm clear, what makes you cost competitive with the grid right now is the 50% subsidy? And if that's correct, how long until you're able to stand on your own without the 50% subsidy, and how long do you expect these subsidies to last?
Well, our philosophy to subsidy is very simple. It needs to be like a feeding bottle. It's a new technology. We need to get that subsidy in the early days. Very quickly we want to get out of the subsidy. Otherwise we're not going to those developing world economies that we talked about. So we're very passionate about getting there. Now, in terms of the subsidies, I want to make one point clear. Don't assume that your traditional grid electricity that you're getting is not subsidized. Every oil tanker and every oil power plant that produces electricity for you, the Navy ships escort them using your taxpayer dollars. That's called subsidy. Every large coal mine that happens and the rights to that, the large electric poles and wires, that's called the grid, that was put during the rural electrification project. They were all subsidies. So the conventional power you're getting from the grid today is not market price power. It is subsidized power. It is unreasonable to ask for a new technology to come in and compete against an incumbent subsidized market. That's number two. The third thing is there are plenty of countries in the world that provide very large subsidies for this new technology because they all realize the one that wins in this game is going to be an economic leader. So it better be our country because we need those jobs. We need that. That's the thing. John, you want to answer?
May I return to Akia's question? I apologize. 15 years ago, no internet. None. No web browser. Today, internet, trillion-dollar economy, 1.2 billion users. What's the energy economy? We got 4 billion people on the planet who use electricity, and it's a $6 trillion piece of the economy. Energy is just in the U.S. I'm not talking about all the rest of the world. So energy is much bigger than the internet, and I believe that Bloom and a number of other innovations, but Bloom, first and foremost, is going to make an impact on that.
Thank you.
So I run a chip company, and we all think of Silicon Valley and silicon and the $350 billion chip market. One of the reasons I got interested in Bloom other than their technology, which is pretty exciting, is that some of the utility bills in the U.S. is $1 trillion with a T. So it dwarfs the semiconductor industry. You want to talk about economic opportunity, it's huge.
I'd like to come back to your question also. A lot of people have asked about cost and how fast cost is being reduced here. When we invested and I joined the board in 2004, the cost was more than 25 times what it is today. Just extrapolate a little bit, and I think you'll see that this technology will not need subsidies in the near future.
You had, David Baker with the San Francisco Chronicle, you had mentioned earlier RPS, Renewable Portfolio Standards. The way it's written in California right now, if a utility does go out and buy a bunch of these and just sticks them next to their substations, would that qualify as the RPS, or would that matter? Would it be a matter of whether they're using renewable fuel or what?
It would qualify, definitely because of the very high efficiency and the total reduction in carbon that we have. The thing that they will do though is they will put it very close to the points of congestion on the transmission grid and not stick it right next to the power plant. Because understand that in addition to meeting a regulatory issue, the utilities have problems of running the grid to fail in congested areas in cities, whether it's San Francisco or Los Angeles or any of these places. So by putting these boxes right inside the city, they're allowing for the grid to not get congested, and so it's a double win for them.
Not just that, but the conventional approach to RPS standards is large power, solar plants in the desert. And then you have to build transmission and distribution to get it from the desert to the people who consume it.
But
Having a modular, small, renewable solution that you can deploy close to the consumer saves a lot of money.
But if it uses natural gas, what would put it under the RPS?
Well, if it runs on a renewable fuel, like a
Okay, so
biogas.
it would only qualify under the RPS if it
Renewable
uses
fuel.
a renewable fuel. Okay.
Question over here?
Yes, Mark Chediak, Bloomberg News. There's a price quoted for the eBay system, 700 million, I believe. Is that?
I wish.
Wait, can you talk about the price of the? Can you talk about the price of the actual server, and then follow-up question: how much funding has the company raised up to this point?
So what we have said is the following: the units cost between $700,000 and $800,000. Using those units, our customers are able to produce electricity from 9 to 10 cents a kilowatt hour, and that translates to them to a 3 to 5 year payback. That's all the economics that we need to discuss. The rest is between us and the customer, and you should be able to understand the rest. Yeah, in terms of the funding, we have said it's somewhere in the $400 million ballpark. I think that's good enough.
Mostly from Kleiner?
It is from a variety of investors. Kleiner was the first investor in the company, and NE was the second investor.
Question right here.
Hi, Katie, Edgar Protect. Is that 3 to 5 year return on investment with the subsidy?
Yes.
And what is it ballpark without the subsidy?
Well, the subsidies exist for a while, and before the subsidies run out, we will not need the subsidies. So that's a hypothetical question. We don't understand.
Ben Parr of Mashable. One of the advantages you talked about is that the boombox can use multiple different fuel inputs, but I'm just curious about whether currently one is more efficient than the others, and related to that, whether which fuel input most of your current customers use now.
Natural gas is the natural fuel of choice right now because in every building, in every big building out here, there's a pipeline that comes in. most of our customers want to use biogas and directed biogas, but the availability of that is slowly picking up. As soon as it starts picking up, what we understand from our customers is they want to switch very quickly. And the beauty is, they don't have to worry about, do I need to wait for that? Because the same box that they purchased today, and with no modification, you don't need to tell the device that you have switched. The device is smart enough to know that you switched to fuel, and it'll take care of itself. So when they buy this unit, they don't have to worry about what the next fuel is.
Hi, Mark Hodgman from PC Magazine. I think you mentioned a 10-year warranty, and you also mentioned others these discs or these fuel cells are hot swappable. I was wondering, within that 10-year span, do you imagine that all the existing original discs would survive for that 10 years, or would you need to hot swap them out over a period of time?
That's something that we keep internal to us. We have to make the economics work, and we are very confident that we can make the economics work. So we have a making review on the price, and that's not something we do.
We're given in the very back corner there.
Peter Schuler with KPD Radio News. I'm just wondering if these different fuels
They can call it.
The box does not include whatever outboard equipment needs to deliver, say, biomass fuel or whatever kind of fuel. Is that correct?
We just ordered 8 of their boxes, Energy Service, excuse me. And what you need to do is hook up a natural gas line to the box when you're done. So you pour a concrete slab, the box comes in at 8 in the morning, they read by noon, and you hook up natural gas and that's it.
So if it's biomass, you would need some kind of biomass fuel generator.
There's not a separation in the market between biogas and normal natural gas. So what you need to do is have a contract. So somewhere in the center of the state where somebody's composting common, for example, and capturing the natural gas from that. You buy gas from them, they put it into the gas system, you pull gas out of the gas system, and you have to guarantee that the amount of gas you use, that you put in biogas on the other end, but you use the natural gas system. There's only one infrastructure.
Yes, one day was a German Business Week. Are you going to license the technology? Because you mentioned that very big worldwide market, or are you going to do it all yourself?
Stay tuned.
With the Obama administration touting new jobs from green energy, can you say that the jobs in manufacturing will be kept here in the U.S.? You have 350 jobs you say you're going to post. Can you say anything more about that?
Majority of our jobs are right here in this valley around San Diego.
Manufacturing will be based here?
Majority of our jobs are right here, right now.
In the back corner.
Can you talk about your manufacturing capability, sales projections, and what other customers you have lined up?
We have plenty of customers and customer demand, but again, stay tuned. We will announce as we go.
I'm Jim Whitkin from Triple Pundit. Could you talk about the environmental impact of your manufacturing and also what happens to the boxes after the 10-year warranty is up?
Very good question. We have designed our systems for cradle to cradle and not cradle to grave. Almost a vast majority of everything that we do is recyclable from the sand that can be thrown back up and be used to the metal that can be reused. So we are very conscious of that. A lot of our processing in the last 8 years, working with our vendors, we have switched from chemical-based processing to aqueous-based processing. So it's very environmentally friendly. We're a very conscious environmental company, and we are doing a cradle-to-cradle thought process on this as opposed to cradle-to-cradle.
Yeah, Michael Canals from Green Tech Media. I'm interested in the reverse reaction. Can you do that on the existing fuel cells, or is it the kind of thing that will come out in future products? And then, if you could possibly shed some light on the map, with a ton of CO2, how much liquid fuel can you make?
We can do that with our existing fuel cell technology, but our current system is not made to run it in reverse. You know, the plumbing, the piping, you know, everything else that you need, the controls, the ducts. We have proven that entirely before, to the satisfaction with data points to get patents on this and to be able to defend those patents. But the current technology is capable of doing that, but we don't believe that it's the right time for it to enter the market.
I feel like from a ton of CO2, how much liquid fuel or how much hydrocarbon?
We would simply go with water-produced hydrogen and be able to recycle it. That's a lot simpler thing to do at home than try to take CO2.
Right back.
Mark Brown from the Auto Channel. I have a follow-up question to the automotive question, and that is that there are already car companies producing fuel cell vehicles and other vehicles that, in a sense, have power plants in the car. So if you did away with, or could Honda, for example, Toyota do away with the fuel cell and use yours? Does yours make more sense?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to put our unit in the car. The low temperature fuel cells are wonderful because you turn the ignition on and you're ready to go. It operates at low temperature. That's what we expect from a car. We are stationary power generation. The way Honda would use us is if they have a plug-in hybrid, or they have an all-electric car, or they have a hydrogen burning combustion engine. There's nothing wrong with the combustion engine. It's a beautiful piece of technology. It's the most inexpensive transmission that we ever have known. So as long as you can put hydrogen in there, and all that's coming out of your exhaust is water, it is as clean as anything you have, and it's the most inexpensive way to do it. So why is everybody not doing it? Because the ability to put a hydrogen infrastructure all around the country is very expensive. There are safety issues, other things. Because now we have brought the gas station to the home, to the office, you don't need that hydrogen infrastructure. It's distributed. We can use hydrogen more and more. So there are three ways they can use it. The last way, which you suggested, is to take our box and put it in their car. We don't recommend it.
In the corner, right there.
Yeah, just two quick questions for you. You mentioned that the box will work on essentially any fuel, the energy server will work on any fuel source. Once you have chosen a fuel source and you're working with that, if you decide to move to another fuel source, does any tweaking have to be done to the box? It's just a switch and
You can switch on the fly. You can switch on the fly on a single day. Our machine has the smarts to figure out what's coming in and adjust.
And then just a quick follow-up, what's the revenue ramp for the business? What are you looking at? We've heard from a number of customers today. Are these your only customers today? Do you have plans for 100, 1,000, 10,000? Where is this going to go over the next, say, year to 18 months as far as revenue growth is concerned?
Well, again, this is not software that once you have perfected, you can stamp out 1 million CDs or 2 million CDs and ship it out. You have to grow. It's a ramp, it's manufacturing. It's similar to building a car factory. It takes time. Okay? And if you grow too fast, you have to worry about quality. We will not, as a company, compromise quality as we grow. So we have a sense of urgency, but we will balance that against building a quality product. The demand is always going to be far greater than our supply for the foreseeable future. That's our expectation. John, you want to add to that?
No, I just want to get questions for General Powell, a global view of this, or energy security for our country. You want to speak?
I just have a quick technical question. What temperature do these boxes operate at? Is it 800 degrees Celsius, higher or lower? That's always been the sort of big challenge.
Yes, it's 800 degrees Celsius, which is about 3 times cooler than the hottest part inside of your car. It's about 2 times cooler than how your home heating furnace, the hottest part of your home heating furnace. Just as you don't think about those as hot devices, when you go and tour our box, you'll see that you will not think about it as a hot device. You can put your hand anywhere you want. Just